What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today we're taking a look at the Knafs Lander 5. I picked mine up during their Kickstarter campaign, but now that all of those orders have been fulfilled and shipped to backers, the Lander 5 is available to purchase and ready to ship on the Knafs website, which I'll link to in the description of the video. Price point on these is $29.99, so ultra affordable, and that's by design. Ben mentioned in the Kickstarter write-up that he designed these as an entry-level knife, or maybe even someone's first knife ever. And so oftentimes affordability equals accessibility. So if you are looking to pick up your first knife, maybe you're friends with someone in the EDC community, the availability of these, the price point on these makes them easy to gift without breaking the bank. If they lose them or don't end up using it, it's not the end of the world. And that's true if they purchase it for themselves as well. It's not too big of a commitment if they don't end up using it on a daily basis or even carrying it on a daily basis. They didn't break the bank. Now, another great thing about these ones are that they're compact and lightweight, making them super easy to carry. They pass Ben's finger test, and that compact size also makes them a little bit more accessible, particularly to first-time knife buyers, I think, who maybe a larger knife may be a little bit more intimidating to carry. This one's small, it can fit in the fifth pocket, you can drop it in your regular pocket without noticing it, into a purse, whatever the case may be. And so that compact size definitely is helping there as well. I think it also has that kind of utilitarian look. These are available in two different colors. The black stonewash, which you see here, which is kind of my preference. I like the darker look to it, as well as a gray stonewash, which also I think looks perfectly fine. I do prefer the darker myself. Both are that same $29.99 price point. Now, in terms of sizing, these are only about 5.5 inches, which drew a lot of comparisons to the Baby Banter, another of Ben Peterson's designs. That one's obviously a Civivi. This one is under his own brand, but that's not the only thing drawing comparisons to Baby Banter. This one also utilizes a finger choil, so you can get that nice grip on the smaller size knife. And so probably a good time to do a quick size comparison between the Lander 5, the Baby Banter, and the Lander 1. So first up, we'll look at the Baby Banter because I think they're very comparable in size, in fact, nearly identical in length, although our Lander is coming in with a slimmer profile. You can see that it does have the finger choil as well, and it's almost the same spot, placement, and sizing, and so that's where it gets a lot of that comparisons. In terms of the Lander 1, which is the only one we're going to be comparing it to at the moment, but you'll see that it is a significant bit shorter than the Lander 1, as is the Baby Banter, shorter than the Lander 1. This one also doesn't utilize a finger choil, but the handle profile is a lot more similar into this kind of slimmer design that we see on the Lander 1. Now, it does kind of stand on its own. It's a little bit of a hybrid of the two, but there are some big differences. So let's go ahead and move these out of the way so we can see what those are. So first of all, both the Baby Banter and the Lander utilize thumb studs. This time around, we get a thumb hole for those that prefer that. Kind of a rectangular hole, nice access to this, super smooth. This isn't what I would call like a fidget friendly knife. It is fun to fidget with, but it's a little bit of a more methodical, slow roll there. Super smooth in terms of just the kind of action on it. Feels buttery smooth and easy to do. Same with the closing of it, but it's got a smaller handle profile. Maybe if it were a little bit larger, you might be able to flick that open with some ease. I don't find that I have the purchase for doing that, but I do enjoy just kind of slow rolling it open and closed. Really nice action on here. Now, these are OEM'd by HB Plus, a company I'm not familiar with, and I don't think OEM'd any of the other Knafs knives, but they did a really great job on these all around, especially at the price point. This is really, really well done. Now, in terms of our handle, we're looking at a 3.3 inch handle. This is actually steel, 2CR13 cold forged steel on these, which gives it that more utilitarian look. I think that lends itself nicely to these entry-level knives. Obviously people who are more into EDC might prefer something like a G10 or a micarta, but I think this gives a little bit more confidence to people who aren't familiar with those other materials and might find them to feel a little bit cheaper than a steel handle. So like that, it's also pretty lightweight even with those steel handles at about 2.53 ounces. Obviously it's not very large, but it's not taking up a lot of weight in your pocket. Feels great in the hand as well. Now, those 3.3 inch handles, if we were to utilize it without utilizing the finger choil, it's about a 2.5 to 3 finger grip. With that finger choil, I can get all 4 fingers on here. Now, my pinky is off the back just a little bit, but it still feels like a full 4-finger knife, which is amazing on a 5.5 inch knife. Now, one of the other things I really like on this is the jimping. Those that watch the channel know I'm a bit of a jimping snob. I'm very picky with it. This one is super grabby without being overly aggressive, and also a nice long run of it. So if you land on the back, you have access to it. If you go a little bit more forward, you still have access to it. So depending on what your grip is, it has a nice long run of it. That's ultra grabby. If you put any sort of pressure on there, you're not going to be sliding around forward or backward on that jimping. So it gives you a nice secure grip onto the knife. And that paired with that finger tool obviously allows you to kind of pinch down really tightly and keep a nice handle on that. Now, in terms of our blade, we've got a 2.2 inch drop point style blade. That is 8CR14 MOV, perfect steel for the price point, I think. No problem with that. But that finger tool is eating into a lot of our edge real estate. So the edge on this is only about 1.75 inches or so, which I think is plenty for 99% of EDC uses. I think someone buying a first knife, or even if there's their first couple knives, they're probably not looking for a huge knife that's, you know, for bushcrafting or camping. Most of those people already have their knife needs met. And so most just kind of like office EDC type tasks, this is gonna get the job done even at about 1.75 inches. And again, that steel is perfectly fine for the price point. Weighs in again at 2.53 ounces, pretty nice weight to blade length ratio, and I think obviously feels fine both in hand, really well balanced, and in pocket. Have a little bit of swedging in front of our jimping. Again, past that finger test, so if you need to do those shallow slices, no problem whatsoever there. Ergos on here are great. We do have a deep carry tip-up pocket clip, and something that's a little bit unique is that that's on a frame lock. And so we haven't talked about that yet, but a lot of times with frame locks, they're right-hand tip-up carry only unless you get a lefty version. This one does have the reversible pocket clip, so left or right-hand friendly, and we even get a plug at that price point, which is great, so we don't have that just kind of vacant valley here for our pocket clip when not in use. Now, that is one of the key differences between the Baby Banter and the Lander that we looked at earlier, is the frame lock instead of the liner lock, and so that's a really nice addition as well. It does have some jimping there, which I like a little bit better than what we see on the liner lock of the Banter, which kind of chews my thumbs up when I use it. So that one is a little bit more fidgety, but it chews my thumbs up when I use it. This one, the jimping's a little bit less aggressive, and so a little bit less grabby, doesn't chew your thumb up quite as much. And so really like this one overall. I think at $30, it's a great price point. Looks great overall. It's not like the best looking knife in the world, but I think for what it is, looks great. Very minimal branding. We just have the Knafs logo on our show side. On that PAL side, we have the What Is Up Guys logo, and then Lander 5 and that 8CR14 MOV steel designation, but really clean design overall. Let me know what you think of this one though down in the comments. Again, I'll leave a link down there. I'm not affiliated, but I am a big fan of Ben and the crew over at Knafs, so we'll make sure to link to that down in the description of the video. Would love to hear your thoughts on it though in the comments. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, checking out some other content. All helps the channel out a ton. One last thing I should point out is this medallion came for the Kickstarter backers, and so this will not be included. You'll just get the box, probably a sticker and the mints as well though, but you will not get the medallion, as that was a Kickstarter kind of add-on or bonus feature for hitting a certain funding goal. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great one. Take care.